We are back with another AFL video, and in this one it is going to be the worst players from every club in the 2020 season. It's been over a week since I posted the best players from every club, but now this is going to be the worst players. So a quick disclaimer, I said it in the last one and I'll say it again, it is based on the stats and to my knowledge. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So we're going to go alphabetical order. We're going to start off with the Adelaide Crows. So Adelaide had a very poor season. I could name the whole team, but I can't go past Taylor Walker. He got dropped for a couple of games. He lost being captain. They had one of the best forwards in the competition in the 2017 season. And yeah, as soon as Eddie Betts, Charlie Cameron, Josh Jenkins left, he couldn't lead the side. He played 14 games, had 15 goals and 9 behind in those appearances. He was once a very dangerous forward player, but now he's just a B-Tech player. So yeah, Taylor Walker is the worst player for Adelaide. Moving on to the Brisbane Lions now, and yeah, I don't really know too many players because most of their players played very well, but if I'm going to have to choose, it's going to be another forward player, and it's going to be Eric Hipwood. He was very inaccurate in front of goals, especially I think in the St Kilda game. He went, I think 0-6, so yeah, not too good for him. But yeah, he's still a very good player, but only because he kicked inaccurately, I'll choose him for the worst player. Moving on to Carlton next, and yeah, once again, don't really know too many players that played bad because I think they all played very well, even though finishing mid-table. But I haven't heard of Mark Murphy. He was a former Carlton captain, then he handed it off to, I think Patrick Cripps it is, but yeah. But he played 17 games, had 4 goals and 7 behind, so he's kind of dropped off a bit. Collingwood. Now Collingwood had 3 bad players for me, so I'll name them all. So the first one is Madgen, Michael Footy. I don't know why he plays, can't spoil, can't defend. Second is the Ruckman, Grundy. As soon as he got a pay rise, he's just done nothing. He was apparently the #1 Ruckman in the competition somehow, but yeah, a lot of Collingwood players can argue he played terribly. But I just can't go past Jaden Stevenson. He's moved to North Melbourne now. I think he'll play absolutely amazing there because North Melbourne really need a forward player. But yeah, Stevenson played 14 games. He got dropped the majority of the games. He got a ban from, I think last year it was, by gambling. He kicked 14 goals and 10 behind, so yeah, not too good by the young Stevenson, but yeah, I reckon he'll have an amazing career at North Melbourne. Essendon Bombers are up next, so yeah, I've gone for Sean McKernan. He's moved to St Kilda. I don't think he'll get much game time at St Kilda because, you know, St Kilda are pretty good, have a really good forward line, I should say. He played 9 matches and only the 5 goals. He's going to be the worst player for Essendon. Freo Dockers are up next, and I was going to go for Jesse Hogan, but I saw his stats. He played pretty well. And yeah, I've gone for a player that only made 1 appearance. It is Cam McCarthy. And when McCarthy was at the Giants, he absolutely killed it. He destroyed the stats. He kicked a ton of goals in a game or in a season, and yeah, he only made the 1 appearance and the 1 behind. So yeah, it's gone downhill his career. Geelong Cats. Now Geelong, I think they have a brilliant side. Yeah, it's very hard for me to choose from. I'm going to choose a defender for them, and his name is Jack Henry. Henry, he's one of my favourite players at Geelong, but yeah, he's just, I don't know what's wrong with him. He always gets tackled somehow. He's very slow at getting rid of the ball, and yeah, I think he is one of the worst players at Geelong. The Gold Coast Suns are next, and Gold Coast, a controversial one. Actually, I'll name someone who I haven't seen yet. I think it's Zach Smith from Geelong, the Ruckman. Yeah, I don't think he made an appearance. He might have been injured, I'm not too sure, but he didn't make a single appearance. I'm not going to choose him though. I've picked their captain, David Swallow. Yeah, he's just had a very poor season. He played 15 matches, 4 goals and 10 behinds. I think he's a terrific player, but you know, he's just a terrible kicker of the footy, and yeah, he was probably Gold Coast's worst player this season. The GWS are up next, and the Giants, they had a very poor season. Expected to finish in the top 8. They didn't even manage to get the 8, so very poor season. I think they finished 10th, so yeah, not too good by them. There are 2 players in my mind right now. The Coleman medalist from the 2019 season, I think it is. 17 matches, 24 goals and 13 behinds. Jeremy Cameron. I think his wages were, 1.6 mil, I think it is. But yeah, he's moved to Geelong now. He played very poorly for the Giants because he missed a lot of crucial goals and yeah, missed a lot of easy ones too. So he's not going to be the one for me though. It is going to be, of course, Stephen Coniglio. 16 games, 5 goals, 8 behinds. As soon as he got the captain's job, he's got a lot of pressure on him. Of course, being the captain, you got to lead the side, and yeah, he's been dropped, or he decided to drop himself for I think it was against Adelaide because his form was terrible. So yeah, Coniglio, he didn't play as great as last year, but yeah, Coniglio is still a great player, and yeah, he didn't play that too good. Hawthorn are up next, and there are 2 players that I have my eye on that have played really bad this season. So the first player is the 2018 Brownlow medalist Tom Mitchell. 17 appearances, he had 2 goals and 1 behind after he broke his leg in 2019, missed the whole season. He's never been the same, don't get as many disposals as he used to, and yeah, he's just gone downhill. Hopefully he can play better this season, but yeah, Mitchell had a very poor season. I didn't go for him though. I went for a former GWS player. Spent a ton of cash, Hawthorn, on him, and he's just been useless. He made 6 appearances, 3 goals and 2 behinds. It is Jonathan Patton. He was in the Coleman competition when it was at the Giants, but yeah, he's just a whinge, isn't he? He had some sort of injury, and yeah, missed out on majority of the season. So yeah, Patton is the worst player at Hawthorn this season. The D's are up next, and I'll name a few. Actually, no, I'll just name 2. So up first is Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones, 8 appearances, 1 goal, 3 behinds. I'm not going to penalise him for this because he has been injured and it's not his fault. But yeah, he's just an injury-prone player, isn't he? But the player who I think played the worst at Melbourne is, of course, the captain, Max Gawn. I think he had some sort of hand injury. Only 14 games, 1 goal, 1 behind. Pretty poor for a captain, so he kind of dropped off from 2019 season. He was in the Brownlow contender somehow, but yeah, Max Gawn is probably the worst player there. North Melbourne, what can I say with them? The whole team played terrible. I reckon they played worse than Adelaide because, yeah, they were top 2, or they were first on the ladder at the start of the season. 2 wins at the start, and yeah, they lost every game. So yeah, North Melbourne, I'm going to go for a full player. It is going to be Mason Wood. So Mason Wood made only 8 appearances, 3 goals, 2 behinds. He was a great player at some stage, but then kind of dropped off. Yeah, he's not getting much game times. I don't think he was injured. He was just not getting picked. So yeah, Mason Wood is going to be the worst player for North Melbourne. Port Adelaide are up next, the minor premiers. And yeah, once again, I can't really choose because all their players played very well. They weren't really outstanding players for them. But if I'm going to have to choose one, I'm going to go with Justin Westhoff. He played 12 games, had 10 goals and 7 behinds. And he got drops during the end of the season, so he missed out on finals. I'm not too sure if he retired, but yeah, I think he played the worst for Port Adelaide. The Tigers are up next, the 2020 premiers, and yeah, there are 2 players that actually played in the finals, or in the grand final, and somehow won without being dropped. And they are, of course, Jason Castagna and Daniel Rioli. If I'm going to have to choose one, I'll probably go with Rioli. Rioli just played terrible. The reason why I'm not saying Castagna is because he actually puts pressure and runs at the players, but Rioli just, yeah, he went from goal of the year in 2017, and yeah, he's probably one of the worst Riolis. I'm gonna have to say this. Rioli had 18 appearances. He got dropped during the start of the season. He had 12 goals and 3 behinds. He was a more accurate kick than Castagna. Castagna had, his stats were 21 games, 17 goals and 12 behinds, so debatable there. Castagna missed a ton of easy goals and he missed some really easy marks in the finals. So yeah, I'm not too sure. It's between those 2, but I'm gonna have to go with Rioli. St Kilda are up next, my second favourite team in the AFL. And sadly, I have to go with an injured player, former Sydney Swans player. He had 8 appearances, 1 goal, 2 behind. It is Dan Hanbury. I thought St Kilda played absolutely amazing, but I have to go with Dan Hanbury. I think he quarantined for about 8 weeks or 2 weeks it was with Edwards and Ablett, but yeah, I think he did that, but I'm gonna have to go with Hanbury because yeah, he was probably the worst player. I mean, he was injured, so yeah, don't matter. Just move on. Sydney Swans are up next. They had a very poor season. 16th they finished. And I've gone for a fullback player by the name of Aliir. Stats reads he had 14 appearances, 3 goals and 1 behind. Wow, he actually scored some goals there. But yeah, Aliir, he's actually a very good player. He's gone to the pair now, Port Adelaide. So yeah, I think he will get a lot of game time there. He'll be a brilliant player to have. He can play fullback, he can play rock, and yeah, I reckon Port Adelaide really need a rock or second backup rock. But yeah, Aliir is probably one of the worst players in Sydney. The West Coast Eagles are up next. Finished 5th on the ladder. Former Geelong player, it is of course Tim Kelly. Now Tim Kelly played 18 matches, 5 goals, 4 behinds. He hasn't really adapted to the West Coast game because, you know, they just send it up to Josh Kennedy. And yeah, just Geelong know how to feed him the ball, rack up the footy, kick goals. So yeah, he hasn't fully adapted to the West Coast playing style. But yeah, Tim Kelly just kind of dropped off a bit. He's still a magnificent player, but for this case, he's just probably one of the Eagles' worst players this season. And finally, but not least, we have the Doggies. I've gone for a player called Josh Schache. If you don't know who Josh Schache is, he was Brisbane's best player. I think it was 4 years ago he played for them. But yeah, just moving to the Dogs, didn't get much game time. Hasn't played too well. Actually, in the 29 season, he played very well, but yeah, has only made 2 appearances this season and 2 goals only. So Schache is the worst player for the Dogs. Check out the best players from this season. It will be in the link in the description. Anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.